series of questions and resumes for the three applicants.
And these were tabulated, you provided a, rather comprehensive list, and these were the ones that the committee focused on.
I contacted folks and I've received comments from two committee members asking me to select certain questions and to add a question.
Yeah,
So,
did you get your question added?
it's the
Yes,
first,
it's
it's
the
number
first-
one on
number
the,
one. It's number
the
one on
one
the
that
list.
Carolyn provided.
Because Ms. Williams is number one.
Have the candidates that weren't,
I just wanted to make sure you got
have the
it.
candidates that weren't selected for interview have they been notified?
We have not notified them at this point. We wanted to make sure we're moving forward, but
And
we can certainly
is-
do
For
that.
that reason, we shouldn't mention names here now then.
Oh, no, right.
three 1-hour meetings, 3 1-hour interviews, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Shouldn't be no.
I'm sorry, I rapidly got through that. Anything else on the fire chief hire? Police chief hire. Hello?
Nothing else.
Okay.
Thank you,
All
sorry.
right, can I move on now?
You may. You
Thank
have
you.
my
Thank you,
authorization.
Mr. Manager. Now we'll, if you will, give us a report from the insurance committee or either Chairman Gormas, one or the other.
It was a pretty quick meeting, everything is noted right there. Recommend renewing the fire department insurance, include PTSD counseling, excluding the cyber liability and, airport insurance. Recommended renewing the airport insurance, AIG Lockton Companies LLC, to include TRIA coverage.
Mr. Gormas, if you will, would you break those out, and would you be so kind as to offer a motion individually?
I offer a motion that, this insurances be renewed.
For the fire department
For the
insurance?
Fire department insurance renewal with McNeil and Company and Hartford Insurance, for totals of 11,621 and 9,206.
Is there a second?
Second.
I'll give a second to Mr. Almond. Any discussion or
Yes,
question?
yes. Philip, when is the last time this was RFP'd out?
I don't think it's been done since I've been here, to be honest with you. I think we did have occasion when we discussed with Chesterfield at one point on pricing, but I can't say we've ever done a full RFP. Yeah.
Chesterfield insured. It hadn't been too long ago. It was probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Have we actually bid it out? I don't even remember doing it.
Found out that
They were,
can't offer,
I
no one else
understand.
can offer the same insurance.
Jennifer looked into it like
Yeah, it wasn't too
That
long.
happened when I first came
right,
on.
but we haven't formally done an RFP.
It happened when I first came
Services,
on.
yeah.
But we've looked into it.
Yes.
My question is just to make sure we're doing our due diligence for our citizens, that's all.
Any other questions or comments? I'll ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Chairman Gormas, if you would like to continue, please, sir.
Also, I'd like to make a motion that the airport insurance renewal be as well renewed at, 6254, $6,254.
Is there a second? Second. Mr. Almond seconds. Any discussion?
Does that, we were not gonna do the additional plan.
Yeah, I think it's $5,300, but $5,300 because we're not gonna use the terrorist exception or detection.
Not on here.
I think 5,300 is the correct number because we chose not to take the terrorist coverage, and we never have had it. If we
I
take the,
remember us discussing it, but I
Yeah,
didn't
they-
know the total.
it would be 6254 if we chose to take the terrorist.
You don't have the exact number?
5,300.
53 even, okay, all right.
I'll amend my motion to make it 5,300 instead of 6254.
Mr. Almond, you second?
Second.
Any other discussion or questions? Ask for a roll call, beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. We'll now start on,
Chris, to answer your question, we did talk and we're gonna start getting RFPs together and put on EVA for health insurance. So we're not just going with the same one each year. We
Right.
discuss that so that way we can get some, let's compare and see what's out there.
It'll have to be as good or better though.
Correct.
Right.
We're not downgrading our policy for our employees.
unfinished business number 1, RFP for legal services.
I have included for your consideration an RFP, which is a request for proposals to be used in the search for a new town attorney. I asked you guys to take a look at this thing, and if you had any additions or changes or corrections that you would like, I can incorporate it. I've got some dates on here that are flexible, and we can modify those and change them, but right now I have proposals being delivered on January 15th, 2024. And I'm asking also that we have legal review of this. I think it is coupled with some of the issues that are going on right now, and would ask that I forward this on to Missy York, our attorney who's handling the intent to sue matter with the town.
Is there a motion to approve this RFP for legal services and to endorse the anticipated timeline enclosed in the RFP?
I put a suggestion of change on there because I believe we have a date wrong.
Oh.
You have November 29th, 2024 is RFP release. Change that to 23.
Changes so noted.
In the meantime, who is our legal counsel? Is Tessie still available?
Tessie is still handling the Cortland Kofer matter,
Okay.
and I think that's on your agenda as well. She's also handling Jan's Residential, and I think there are 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken, ordinances that she had been working on with Jennifer prior to her departure. Matters beyond that, Missy York,
Missy.
and I have asked that Hawthorne and Hawthorne join us as well for a particular matter tonight.
President Nash, I welcome any more discussion, but I would like a motion and a second. Mr. Almond moves, and Mr. Nash seconds. Is there any more discussion about this RFP and the associated timeline? Hearing none, I'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Unfinished business number 2 is to award the bid for paving. Manager Van Orbeck.
I remind everybody, this is for paving that's typically done in the spring or early summer. We try to bid out before VDOT does. It's our experience if we don't get our bids out in the fall or before the first of the year, everybody gets busy with VDOT work or bidding on VDOT work, and we get shut out. So we try to do it a little earlier, and bids for asphalt, and we're not doing a tar and gravel schedule this year. I don't have one planned. The bids were publicly opened on November 16th. 2023, with 2 bids being received. The apparent low bid is from Southern Paving in the amount of $345,500. The project is Northwest Avenue from the Barco Road intersection to the 460 right away. So that would be going from south to north. It's an 1.5-inch milling project and an 1.5-inch overlay project.
Projects are bonded, inspected.
They'll have to put a performance bond at $345,500.
Move that we proceed with Southern Paving at the low bid of $345,500.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Nash has moved and Mr. Gormus is properly second to award this bid for $345,500. Is there any other discussion, council?
Were they the ones that just finished?
East End.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, what is our reimbursement typically per lane for VDOT?
Oof. It's a dollar figure per lane mile, so 2 ways you get double. Places like College Road, it's a single lane, you only get reimbursed for single. I've got the whole thing in the office and I can
Asking
provide it
just
to you.
because out of that $345,000, the life expectancy of that road,
It's about 7 years.
do we get reimbursed after 7 years for the full project, you think?
No, you get, that's a quarter.
Well, I know that, but not for that one road. I would.
Oh, I
Give me
understand.
some breakdown, doesn't have to be now, but I
No
would just
problem.
like to see what we get as opposed to what the life expectancy of that road is. How do we balance that?
Got it.
Any other discussion, council? I ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Unfinished business number 3, skill games. Mr. Van Orbeck, would you be so kind as to report and start a discussion on this matter?
Catching up to you, hang on a second. An email from Mr. Drew Shepard inquiring about skill games in Blackstone. Also attaches a statement by Commonwealth Attorney Watrous. And I think there's been a second email that I have received requesting a extension. As I understand it, this past month, the state Supreme Court determined that these games were not going to be legal anymore. I think there are places in town that do have them. You have a letter from one individual that is, I guess, an owner of a facility here in town. That gentleman is here. We have had a second request. We also have information from Leanne Watrous confirming the state Supreme Court determinations that these are not legal events. I think Mr. Shepherd has provided a Powhatan County action that gave an extension for these machines to be allowed. If I'm not mistaken, is it 6 months until April? April 1. So I think that there's a request to allow these machines to operate for an additional 6 months based on what Powhatan County has done in the past.
Is it under our purview to allow?
Good question.
I'll be frank with you, I'd have to probably confer with the attorney, but if Powhatan County has given an extension, apparently that tells me that there's some wiggle room that localities have.
I'm sorry, I'm
Well,
sorry.
who said it was 6 months?
Pardon?
Who said it was 6 months that they gave the extension?
Powhatan.
Powhatan County did it for 6 months.
I'm sorry, Philip, but if Powhatan County wants to tank their budget, that's up to them. I don't, I think we need to be well versed by either the Commonwealth Attorney or either by a competent attorney in this matter.
It appears by this letter that on October 13th, that the Supreme Court vacated the lower court's decision. It would be in effect October 13th, wouldn't it?
I'm not an attorney. I'm just saying that,
I think
I-
ultimately it's gonna be a county from the Commonwealth's attorney.
do you not think this might be more in the county's purview than the town?
Yeah, I do, I agree. County, I watched the Attorney General sit there and say, it's up to the district attorneys to start enforcing it now, when the Supreme
Commonwealth
Court
attorney.
passed the ban, so.
Pass it
I
on.
think this is more of a Commonwealth attorney. We may get in a situation where we allow it, and then the Commonwealth attorney comes in and gets them for it anyway, so.
Very good.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Shepherd, I think what I'm hearing from my counsel is that it's kind of over our pay grade. We're not in the legislative business, and we'll refer this to the Nottaway County Commonwealth Attorney, and I'll stay in touch with you, or Mr. Van Orbeck will, and see if we can get you some answers. I just don't feel like that we're in the position to grant any extensions to circumvent state law. That makes me feel comfortable.
Being that he is a town business, I would like to see us be proactive to try.
Yes,
To get an
yes,
answer from the Commonwealth's
yes.
attorney.
That is what I'm saying. You wouldn't happen to be Roy Shepherd's uncle, are you?
I am.
Just, I had the joy of coaching him in basketball. He's a fine young man, 100% boy, and he's a very good kid. It's good to have you here, sir.
Philip, reading this, I mean, she doesn't really take a position on whether she's gonna enforce it immediately. Do you know at all, being up there?
My experience to this point, if you remember several years ago, this was kind of a hot topic, and we notified folks that couldn't have the machines. She was pretty non-committal and did not pursue any enforcement
I think that was when
previously.
the law was in limbo as to not, whether it's legal or illegal. I think at this point, we kinda should demand to have.
Counsel, would you have a motion to authorize me to write the Commonwealth Attorney and seek an answer for Mr. Shepherd?
So moved.
Couldn't you call? That'd be a little quicker, wouldn't it?
No, I'll call, but I like that record.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay,
the
I'll do both.
Does the town have a position on whether we would ask her to create an extension on the county level or not? I mean, I don't mind the games being there. I mean, it's up to y'all, but.
How many, obviously, I know that's that location of Mr. Shepherd is just games. Are there any other locations in Blackstone, or are they all?
The gas station.
Gas
They're within
What about the
establishments
bowling
that are-
alleys?
Yeah, but the gas stations
Bowling alley's in
don't
the
have
county.
them in there anymore. They're all gone from the gas station.
Philippians got them.
They're either turned off or not, or they're gone.
Philippians gone already, I believe.
Yeah, they've been gone. So what I'm saying is I know
I
all,
believe it was November 13th. That's
Right.
when it dropped
because they cut them off at quarter after 5.
on Wednesday.
Oh, yes. So they've been out of Blackstone since last week.
I understand what Mr. Page is asking. I think he's asking to see with Mr. Shepherd, what is your lease? What's that like as opposed to, should we be pushing for it to be enacted right now? Should we kind of be like, look, let's
Should we,
try to hold off 3 months or what?
yeah. Do we
Well,
have-
the 20th mayor of Blackstone, Mr. Billy Colburn, said y'all speak through your motions. So if you want to come out in favor or not in favor, then please make a motion to do so. Otherwise, I don't know how to proceed.
I don't think we can make a motion unless we know the full understanding.
Are you
Can
asking
we?
for the extension pending legislation, or are you asking just for the extension just for?
I think he just wants to know.
I want to be compliant. I don't really know what to do, so I want to. I'm up here to communicate figure out what I'm supposed to do. It's all over the board, from the Eastern Shore to Bristol. I mean, it's all over the board, so I don't know. I'm looking for guidance.
This
Fair
letter is from Leanne, and it states, on Monday, November 13th, the motion for summary judgment was granted, dismissing the plaintiff's challenge to the Scales Games ban in the circuit court. The laws which were challenged are the law of the Commonwealth of Virginia at this time, and as such, there are potential criminal penalties for possessing, operating, or playing skill games, and both civil and criminal penalties for persons operating such devices. I mean, that's November
Potential.
13th.
Again, there's nothing there's nothing firm. So we just need
To
to
me.
get a
Well,
definitive answer.
I have to agree with Mr. Gormas now. However,
said it.
however, if this council would like to help Mr. Shepherd, get an extension or variance or whatever Leanne would call it, that's your wish. So that's what I'm trying to gauge here. I don't have a crystal ball. I wouldn't be
So
peddling
is-
used cars on Main Street
So
if I
we're
could read
agreeing
minds.
that that's the day it should have stopped, or are we agreeing
Well-
that you go talk to Leanne?
Somebody's gotta help me here get a consensus out of y'all.
I got a question. Okay. The majority of the businesses in Blackstone have taken their things out. Okay, so just say like if we say, okay, you can do this, then what happens if the rest of the people say, hey, we can bring ours back?
Again, I think
I
we're all,
understand.
we go back to the beginning of the meeting, we're talking about stuff that's county related, that's state related. It's not even for us to be talking about, to be honest.
It'll wind up like ditches. We'll be talking about it next December.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, who's gonna enforce this, Mr. Van Orbeck? Is the
As
town?
I understand, a felony would be enforced by the Commonwealth's attorney,
Okay.
and I think one of the activities is a felony, if I read her information correctly. The misdemeanors, I don't know, I'm not of the opinion that Leanne is going to enforce misdemeanors. She doesn't enforce every misdemeanor because of her concerns about staffing levels and that sort of thing. And misdemeanors, I would expect, it would be the locality, the town of Blackstone have to.
How about we just ask the town manager and the mayor just to reach out to common attorney? We don't need motions. We're helping.
Well,
the
you can give me
business try
common
to-
consent that
Common consent.
we
Let's
can handle this
figure
and
it out.
communicate.
As soon as possible.
And we may communicate with you and say, you need to go to the county level, or you need to go to the Commonwealth's attorney. But you've made a good request of us, and I wanna see it through.
Yeah,
So-
he's trying to be clear.
He's
Yes,
trying to
sir.
do the right thing.
When I received the letter from the Commonwealth Attorney, I contacted my partners and we closed it. So as of, I guess it was maybe Thursday or Friday afternoon, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or today.
See, to that point, I think you're already doing the right thing. I mean, it should be
too.
done by
Right.
now.
But as a
That's-
business, he just needs
But
clarification.
I
So we
would,
need to get it.
I sympathize, and I would be here asking for an exception if our neighboring county is giving an exception. Is that what you're doing?
I would point out that there is a zoning variance in that slot within the Food Line Shopping Center just for this. And so that it may be something y'all wanna vote on to do away, or maybe it's zoning, I'm not sure who would do it, but
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't the manager and I try to get you some answers? I think there's a great possibility tomorrow night, I'm gonna be continuing that meeting to the 28th. We have some business we need to attend to,
28th or 29th?
29th or whenever it is, so that would be the quickest turnaround we could get you an answer. And I really don't wanna do anything else without the council knowing what's going on. Is that agreeable to council? Manager and I will start the process of seeing if we can get him an exception. I don't see that we're able to grant you an exception to the law, we can ask.
I think we just aid
Okay.
in helping him get
Right.
an answer.
That's what
we're
I'm-
trying to do.
Is that agreeable? Nod some heads or?
Yes.
So
Okay.
then should he stay closed until he hears from
That's
you?
not our.
That's not our
that's
decision.
That's up to
No.
Mr. Shepherd.
And if he reopens, and the ones that have already taken them out come in here and want compensation
Right.
for money they didn't
That's,
get.
and
Right.
Mr. Miller made a great point about that, and I do have that fear, so let us dig into it, see what we can find out. Give my regards to Roy, would you
thank you,
please?
thank you, thank you.
Speaking of another outstanding basketball player, I have another one here visiting tonight, Mr. Bobby Hawthorne. Even, was my assistant one year, so my basketball players are in the house tonight. Dilapidated I guess we're moving on to ongoing projects, and would you run through these at your leisure?
I will Move through them is all due haste. Dilapidated buildings, attached is our recent filing in regards to the Dillard Crawley building owned by Cortland Cofer. I've not been given a court date yet, but it is our filing with our intent to enforce our eminent domain powers on the property, as no work has been done to satisfy the blighted designation of the property. 902 Second Street is another property that we're working on, and for those of you who've been by there in the recent past, windows were broken, have been vandalized, in bad shape, and they started tearing it down today. There's a dumpster out there, and they started taking the siding off the house. Hopefully that'll continue. I don't think they're gonna meet our November 19th deadline. So we're gonna continue to work with the family. It saves us a lot of headache not going to court and that kind of thing, so we just as well get it done, but we don't wanna leave it open-ended.
I emailed you today.
Meals, lodging, and taxes. 2 outstanding meals taxes. The treasurer's here if you have any questions. And no outstanding lodging taxes, so I guess all the Airbnbs got cleaned up and assigned.
Waiting on reporting, and it's down to one delinquent meals tax as of today.
Okay.
And how many months back is the one?
And their payment agreement is to be paid today or in the Dropbox in the morning, so. And you guys know tomorrow. I will proceed.
Street improvement projects, the town's pre-application for revenue sharing for the South Main Street widening and sidebar project has received tentative approval and will move on for full consideration. The application will now be fully considered by funding by VDOT. The project, if approved, would make up to $1.8 million of grant funds available for the project. And we're still looking like a 2027 construction date. Okay. Moving on, Wigglesworth, nothing really to report. The rain tomorrow will be good news for our football field. And we hope to continue seeing grass prosper on said property.
Gonna be good for our forest too. I'm worried about the fire danger.
There is a fire ban, or burn ban, that was adopted by the Board of Supervisors last Thursday night. And until such time, and perhaps it'll be lifted after tomorrow if we get the rain that they're forecasting, but there is a burn ban in effect for Nottaway County. There's a permanent burn ban in the town of Blackstone. Taylor Bottom, pretty broad on this. Chastity was at a conference and I didn't have a chance to ask her much. Planning grant expectation for submittal? Mid-December, so I was right. Prior to the first of the year, I was pretty safe with that one. I didn't get out on a limb, so hopefully that'll get done. Chastity has been getting income statements and getting surveys completed, and we have an expectation middle of December we will submit the planning grant for Taylor Bottom. It's the second time we've submitted it. The first time they ran out of funds before we could get any of them, and we anticipate we'll be at the front of the line this time. Armory number 6, all documents related to the Armory construction project are executed, and the notice of proceed was issued or has been issued as of November 6, 2023. The town forces are 95% complete with the demolition work we committed to complete, with the remainder being in the basement. There's still some lighting conduit in the basement where they were getting the Christmas wreaths and things. We want to leave the lights on. So we should be able to finish all that and get it all taken care of. I'll report to you as soon as I have dates when they're actually physical to be on site. And
300 days from the 6th, right?
pardon?
Completion.
300 days from the 6th to be complete, right?
There you go. In addition, there's a resolution at your counter. This is something that arose out of Chastity's conferences this past week. It is a resolution authorizing us to proceed with application to the Virginia Tobacco Region Revitalization Commission for $247,217. You've heard this number before, and we had applied to the USDA for this money, and this is for complete the commercial kitchen. They wanted us to follow Department of Historic Resources guidelines and standards, and we had already designed the project not in compliance with Department of Historic Resources guidance, because they wanted to retain the shingled roof and the windows and several other things. So we had to tell USDA thank you, but no thank you. So we are pursuing Tobacco Commission funds and ask that you adopt this resolution, allowing us to continue the process.
You've heard the manager's request. Is there a motion to accept this resolution and authorize the mayor to sign?
So moved.
Mr. Page moves. Is there a second? Mr. Nash seconds. Any discussion? I ask for a roll call vote beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Mr. Manager?
Weatherization, I put nothing in the report, but we've had some calls from people who have expectations of weatherization work being done on their property because they may be first in line. We have not set aside the contribution for this fiscal year yet. The county has given us some money, but we have not set our side, $50,000 aside yet. We still got some other things. We just got through the true up with VEMA. Now we're seeing some better cash flows, and now we're gonna start setting aside and completing our water and sewer contributions so we can get our debt payments. Once that's completed, then we'll be moving on, making our contribution to weatherization.
So that's $100,000, right?
Be 90,000 for the year, 50 for town, and the county gave us 40.
40 cents,
Yep.
okay.
All right. Workforce housing. I know I've probably told you 6 times we're doing this, we're doing that, but I can tell you 409 East Broad Street is completed, and a deed from the town of Blackstone to a Lauren Fitzgerald has been recorded at the Nottaway Clerk's office, and that home is no longer property of the town of Blackstone. It belongs to Lauren Fitzgerald. That home was sold, and there's a deed of trust on that property for $100,500, but the appraisal was literally double that. And so that is affordable housing, and that person's walking into a situation where they have over $100,000 equity in their home, and that's what the program's for. If we have not received, we will be receiving a check for, we got it, over $99,000, which will reimburse us, minus our costs, from the $100,500, and we're gonna put that in the next house, and we'll hopefully keep it going. So, we're working on some additional properties, to build some additional homes. But as you can see here, there's 2 other homes. We just finished clearing one, which is the old playground property across from Levi Strauss. Clear off half a dozen big oak or pine trees on the property. That home should be started. We've signed the contract, and also on the old Tucker property at the very end of Broad Street. And,
When is the Tucker project going?
yeah, the contracts are signed, so the contractor can start at any time.
Well, this is an amazing job that you and your staff, Chastity, have done.
It's a good project,
The
good
town that
program.
does not have as resources to compete with a Chesterfield or a Richmond, and I think you're doing as much as any community that I've visited. And I'm very proud of what you're doing on
We're
this.
the only community in Southside Virginia to apply for this.
Right.
Habitat for Humanity, and I think a private developer in Cambridge applied.
Right.
We're the only community that applied, and we're gonna take $400,000, and we're gonna end up building 6 or 7 houses.
Well, it's efforts like these that moving our town forward as other similar towns are deteriorating, we're flourishing. And I want to commend you and your staff, Chastity,
This is
for
a
all that you're doing.
Good program.
This
This
is
is
a
not grant
great
money.
program.
This is
Win,
just
win, win.
affordable cost housing. So you're getting 1,200 square feet, which in the open market would cost you 200,000. You're getting it at $100,000. So it's a good deal. And Virginia Housing has been a good partner, and they're providing the financing, long-term financing for these programs.
Yeah.
Got the first one under our belt, so I think we're better at them now, and the next one should move smoother.
Mr. Miller?
But really though, so we're running out of land now that we own, right?
I'm going to work on a contract tomorrow between Southside Outreach and a property owner here in town for 3 additional lots.
Okay.
Okay? But those will not be held by the town of Blackstone, but I did offer to write the contract for them and put the buyer and the seller together for a very reasonable price, I felt.
Very outstanding. Anything else on workforce housing?
Nothing.
All right, new business number 1. The first item of new business is committee assignments. Mr. Gormas has asked me to add this to the agenda, and I now turn the floor over to Councilman Gormas.
Okay, first off, I would love to go up to the mic to do this because I'm afraid I may not be heard, and I want to be heard clearly when I'm about to
Well,
say.
you're more than welcome to do so.
Thank you. All right. The charter for the Blackstone and the Blackstone Code of Ordinances state the following in section 3.2, Powers of Council, section B, with regard to committees. The council may appoint such committees of council and create such boards and departments consistent with the terms of this charter and the laws of Virginia. It is the belief of a majority of this council that we can better represent the needs of Blackstone and move forward with the progressive momentum we are experiencing as a town if the committee assignments are revised per this handout. I'll hand them out in a minute. We must work together if we want what is best for all. Whether we agree with each other or not, we need to maturely and professionally accept that we are part of a governing body together in which majority rules. I believe trust is a critical ingredient to the success of any team, and most especially a team such as this council. We were elected to do our best to represent the greater good of this town, and the people of this town deserve our best efforts. This proposal is the result of other members of the council sharing their concerns and feelings with me, and me following up individually with each, no more than 2, one-on-one with each, to determine if a majority felt this would be worthy of pursuing, and we did. Edward Everett Hale, an American author and historian, once said, "Coming together is a beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success." With that, I make a motion that this council and town strive to be successful, and that the committee assignments be changed per the proposed document I'm passing out, effective immediately.
Before I ask for a second, whatever you're talking about, let the council see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Second.
Yes, we have a second. Members of council, have you had adequate time to review this?
I second.
Proposed, committee assignments. Is there anyone that needs more time? Does anyone object to, taking this motion up at this time? Hearing none, I need a motion and a second. I have Miller and Page, is that correct?
I'll make the motion.
Oh, you made the motion, I'm
And I
sorry, Mr.
second.
Gormas.
I second.
Mr. Gormas.
You made the motion, I second.
And Miller has second.
You paid,
Seconded it, yeah.
seconded?
It makes no difference, it's properly, I'll give it to Page in the record, it's properly seconded.
These committees are advisory committees, right?
I don't know how to answer that, these are the committees of council.
They all come back to the council. Correct.
Yes,
They're advisory.
yes, any of these committees, do not have the power to, encumber the town or to make policy or change a policy. All they are is advisory committees to the full council. Any discussion, any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7-0. Item number 2 is a resolution for, Ms. Barbara Rothgibb. She retired on the 31st of October and was presented the attached resolution. Are you asking for the council to ratify this?
We are.
Okay, do you have any other comments, or have I stole the show?
I don't have any additional comments on what council does, but this is a resolution that was executed by the mayor and having been done so for her retirement, and we'd like council to also
Move
vote
to
and
adopt
ratify.
the resolution as presented and authorizing the mayor to sign, which has already been done, but reaffirming it.
Mr. Nash has moved, is there a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Nguyen is second, is there any discussion?
And thank her for her 36 years of service to the town.
Absolutely, we had, for those that couldn't make it, we had a nice floating lunch, was it like 12 to 3 or something like that? I had the privilege of reading this resolution and giving her a key to the town of Blackstone.
And you made the paper.
And I made the paper to boot. Okay, I'm starting to need some royalties. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? I'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries 7-0. Number 3 is a resolution for medical service for former Chief Kuzmiak.
Chief Kuzmiak is a retiree not eligible for Medicare, has requested to participate in our health insurance at his cost. There is no percentage paid for by the town, and our health insurance carrier has asked that you adopt a resolution authorizing him to participate in our health insurance program.
How many years will this need to be done?
I don't know. I don't know if it's an annual thing or just a permanent. I can find out for you.
How
But-
old is he?
I move that we adopt the resolution.
How old is he, you know?
Chief Kuzmiak is, I'm going to tell you, and I don't want to violate a HIPAA law, but I think he's 62. I think he is
I believe you're
62.
correct.
I think he's 62.
4 years.
This
So
is
I,
available for anybody that retires from the town of Blackstone that wishes to.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Jackson, was he not on health insurance with the town
Mr. Nash,
when he passed away?
I have a motion presented by Mr. Page. Is there a second?
I second it.
All right, Mr. Nash, second. Continue discussion, please. Is this motion include for the duration of the period of time that he's not eligible for? Or
I
is
believe
this-
that's the case, but I will double check because this specifically says not eligible for Medicare.
Mr. Page,
But I will
would you-
double check to see if you have to do it annually, and is this only required until he's eligible for
Would you
Medicare?
amend your motion to allow this coverage until he is eligible?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
Is this billed with the individual we have on there now with the same, is it billed monthly? Is it billed, how do we make sure we? Okay.
So he's paying the town? Okay, and, well, I mean, I guess I have to ask, with all due respect to
That's why I'm
him,
asking.
because, is this something that's gonna be available to anybody that's a town employee that retires and wants to continue their insurance?
It has been. We have
Yes.
retirees that are on the health insurance. His is a little different, I think, because of his youthfulness. He's not quite eligible for Medicaid.
So when did he start his law enforcement career? In sixth grade? I mean, I
He
think-
appears quite youthful, but I think he did, I'm going to tell you I know, but I think it was 20 years in New York, and it's been
it was
over
40
20 years here,
40
so
combined.
40 years.
Yeah, remarkable, remarkable. All right, any other discussion about this resolution? I'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Number 4 is a filter control panel replacement.
Yeah, I
Mr.
hate to tell
Benoit?
you this, but we have a filter control panel that has died at the water treatment plant. And the repair cost is, as you can see, $95,445. That is a repair. That is not a new, and I'm not advocating putting a new one because it is an emergency and we can do the repairs quicker than we can put the new in. I don't need to wait another 60, 90 days to bid this out. I'm not happy about it, but right now our operators are having to climb up into the pipe chase at the plant and manually open and close valves. And Ed is quite concerned about it and has asked if we can proceed on. And I am asking council to authorize the expenditure of $95,445. And I'll tell you the Inframark Automation Intelligence is the recommended contractor. And I'm asking you to declare this a procurement emergency, and we will advertise it on EVA and that sort of thing, let folks know. But I need to get going on this.
Members of council, you've heard the manager's request.
So moved.
Mr. Nash moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Williams, second. I do, before I open the floor for comments, I'm glad to hear this motion in second because I'm worried, human error is involved. These people, it's a great crew out there, but I think us doing it manually kind of makes me a little nervous.
It's a
if that's the right
20-year-old
term.
piece of equipment that was put in when the plant
I
was
also
originally
want to
done.
say, Mr. Nash had a brilliant idea about the generator.
I already asked.
Um,
Check into it.
Is that something that we can look into?
I think Jack is gonna check into it. Insurance, possibly.
Possibly get insurance to do this repair?
For a 20-year-old item? But I mean, we have insurance for corrective maintenance?
This is broke.
We didn't, I'll be honest with you, Eric threw this one out when we had
Yeah, I
a
remember the
generator die on
It's
us.
wonderful if it works, but I mean.
Generator died at the
Comes up with
peak
that.
generating plant, and it was a $200,000+ repair, and insurance covered it 100%. So
This is a software issue out there though, right?
we kind of make a practice of letting the insurance company know.
It's a valve.
When they create the budget for
It's a
this,
software issue though, right?
Pardon?
A software issue.
the panel, it's the
It's the panel, yeah. So,
It's not a matter of just replacing software. I think the physical plant itself has to be replaced.
okay.
when the budget is laid out for that department, is there like a budget for preventive and corrective maintenance? Is it something that would come from some of that?
There is. I don't know, I can tell you, we can go back and look whether it's $95,000 or not.
It's gonna come out of the water sewer fund, yes. It's not like we're scrounging to find the 95.
Oh, I know it's gonna be that.
Mr. Moncur, that used to be sitting right here to the right of me, he was adamant that we need to start putting some depreciation away.
Yeah.
And that, and we've done some, but haven't done it.
We're not doing like we used to.
I'd work toward having a new backup, you know, because we're repairing the old one here, right?
Cash flow has not permitted any depreciation to be budgeted in this past year's budget. Zero.
But we are on the right track.
We're on the right track, but
You've come a long way since I sat where Mr. Page was.
it's been a long
A
time.
great job been done on our finances.
And I thank you for allowing us to proceed on and get that done.
Mr. Nash has moved and Miss Williams, I'm sorry, dear, has, second to authorize the manager to, declare this an emergency procurement, issue, and he needs to make these repairs in the amount of $95,445. I'll ask for a roll call vote, beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, council. It's very responsible action. Item number 5 is a tourism zone request. Mr. Manager?
As you know, tourism zone is town-wide, and certain properties are eligible for a real estate tax abatement on town real estate taxes. You guys have approved 2 for this current year. There's been a request from Waukesha Development, but I'm not prepared to make a recommendation right now because I think some of his buildings were built prior to the adoption, so some may be eligible and some may be not. So I'm gonna come back with a full report in December, and if anything, we may have to make an abatement or extend it for 3 years moving forward.
No
Okay?
action required.
Please, I would like to do more research on it.
Well, we'll hear from you in December.
Thank you.
Item number 6 is the 2024 council meeting schedule. Attached is the proposed council meeting schedule for approval. Is this agreeable to you, Mr. Manager?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
To approve as presented.
Mr. Nash has moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Gorman, second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion carries 7-0. Item number 7 on new business is the 2024 holiday schedule. Members of council, you have before you the state of Virginia's holiday schedule. Council needs to adopt a list of observed holidays for our associates for the year 2024. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve as presented with the exception of removing Election Day, November 5th, and putting that date to Thursday, December 26th for the day after Christmas. Again, I'll say it every year, I'd much rather see families spend time with their loved ones the day after Christmas.
Mr. Nash moves that we delete Tuesday the 5th and add, what day was that, sir?
Yeah.
November 26th.
December 26th.
December 26th.
Second that.
And Mr. Nash has moved and Mr. Almond has second. Is there any more discussion?
Be sure and schedule vacation day on that Friday. Yeah.
So I don't mind adding December 26th, but why do we have to remove election day? Why not just add December 26th to the list?
I'm afraid I'm at the limit of number of days. The town is not here for the citizens.
It's a statewide holiday and it's meant to allow our employees to go vote. And I understand that they said that we were gonna get rid of a day, that they would prefer that day, but, I mean, if,
Didn't we get rid of Columbus Day last year?
no, it was election day, yeah.
The general consensus when the employees were asked was they'd rather have the 26th than election day, but maybe I'm just misremembering that.
No,
Haven't done
that's,
a poll.
But when you put election day up against the day after Christmas, I mean, it's kinda like,
well, we
you
have,
want this
in my
candy or you
opinion,
want
I'm
this-
gonna get off my rocker here, but you got 45 days to vote. You've got, which I support. I don't know why, there's any racket about being able to vote on Sunday. I support that. But you got 45 days in the town. I can't imagine that Manager Van Orbeck would not let somebody have the time to vote. So, that's my opinion. I'm gonna stay out of it. Y'all, council, this is y'all's decision.
Last year, we did ask the town workers, and they voted for the day after Christmas. So that's why we're continuing. They voted for that, because I said, let's ask them, and that's what they voted for.
And
So,
I think y'all discussed last year whether to get rid of Columbus or Election Day, and they chose to get rid of Election Day, so.
that came
Well,
from
it
the
falls on-
workers.
They get a day off on Veterans Day that following week, so that's why it fell like that.
You got a a motion and a second. Then.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion? The motion is that we remove Wednesday, November the 24th, and add Thursday, December 26th as an observed holiday. All those in favor indicate by saying
I think
aye.
it's November 11th, or
What?
excuse me, November 5th.
November the 5th, right?
Fifth.
November 5th.
Yeah, I'm sorry,
Add
fifth.
26.
All right, it's been a long meeting. Let me start all over. Okay, y'all take it out of my pay. All right, so we're gonna remove the motion from Mr. Nash and seconded by Mr. Almond is to remove November 5th as one of our observed holidays and to take that day and add December the 26th.
Yes.
I'll make a substitute motion. I know it's gonna fail, but I just, make a motion that we add December 26th, as a observed holiday for the town and leave the remaining schedule the way it is.
So you wanna leave the schedule as it is and add an additional day?
Yes,
All right, then
Thursday, December
Mr. Page
26th.
has moved that you adopt the holidays provided and add December 26th. Is there a second? Hearing none, that motion fails. I'll go back to the original motion. That motion is that November 11th is removed and December 26th is added. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? That motion carries 7-0. Number 8, under new business, is an ordinance that would authorize the Christmas bonuses. Mr. Manager, do you have any, it's pretty cut and dry, we do it every year.
Every year?
Is there a motion to do this?
I make a motion that we pay.
Mr. Miller moves, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Gormas, was that you, or Ms. Williams? Ms. Williams, is second, is there any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Philip, when's the last time we raised the senior and junior fire department's Christmas bonus?
Man, I have no idea, but I can find out for you.
Okay, do you know the last time we raised the full and part-time employees?
Neither. I don't know the last time we adjusted
I
that.
know one time, full-time was 150 and part-time was a little less.
Well, keep in mind, the fire department also gets paid per call.
I mean, they're working just like everybody else.
I have a question. Is this staff's recommendation?
Yes, it's staff's recommendation to stick with what we got. If you'd like me to study it or you wanna adjust it, we can do it next year. And
Well, I have a motion and a second on the floor. And this is staff's recommendation.
it is our recommendation.
Any other discussion?
Yes. My secondary motion is that we approve these Christmas bonuses, but we increase the fire department for senior to $75 and junior to $50.
Mr. Nash has requested to increase the, fire department by, Mr. Page, excuse me, Mr. Nash.
Man, it has been a long meeting.
I'm tired, man, I'm telling you.
Is there any way that I admire these volunteers? I'm one of them, but can we have that in the budget?
Well, I mean, it hasn't been done. I mean, as far, my understanding is full and part-time employees, and we appreciate everybody, got a raise not too long ago, okay? And that the fire department has always been getting $25 and $50. These guys get up, they have to drop out of their work, change their clothes, get
Yeah,
over.
but there's also like $29,000 budgeted out there for it to be split amongst them per call for the reimbursement of clothing and gasoline and all the time.
Right, well, I mean, if you wanna make that argument, we have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the budget to pay our employees for their
Well,
work.
I tell you what I'm,
Keywords in the budget, so
look,
let's talk
whoa,
about it next budget.
whoa,
That's
whoa. I need a second to continue this conversation, Mr. Page. Mr. Page has moved that we increase the amount, to the fire department, full-time and part-time, is that correct?
Senior and junior, $75 for senior, $50 for
Is
junior.
there a second? Hearing none, that motion fails. I ask for a voice vote on the original motion by Mr. Miller and Ms. Williams. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Motion carries 6-0-1.
Mayor, may I interrupt?
Absolutely.
At your desk is the new thing that y'all got tonight from Chief Tillman for the cost of what is it called?
It's the fire department.
Right, but I don't, it doesn't require any action, council, does it? It's informational.
Point of procedure.
Okay, hold on.
You paid that.
Hold on, let me take a deep breath here. Let me see what I'm gonna ask council to vote on. What, I beg your pardon?
It's a loose sheet at
I'm
your
gonna,
counter.
I'm gonna use Mr. Miller's. Alright. You have before you, 2023 Christmas bonus breakdown. What is it, what in the world am I asking council to do here, Mr. Manager?
You're asking the council to, as Mr. Gorman was saying, this is the payments that they receive for running calls. I can't remember the way they come up with it. Is it a vote at the fire department level, how they do it? But if you look at this, chart, not spreadsheet, but it'll tell you the number of calls that are run. And this is what, $31,000. It's been running in the $28,000 to $30,000 range. And, we typically budget for this. And we're asking you to authorize payment of those. We ask you this month because it is, we try to get to it prior to Christmas.
Just to be clear, the total request is, the budget is 29,000, the total request is $28,247.
Point of,
What's this called?
It's just a clothing allowance is how it's done in the,
It says fire department allowance.
yeah.
Actually, the total request is $31,875 because you have juniors and other folks making requests.
That's totally,
The
so
part-time.
these two, if you look at this spreadsheet, the town staff and then the fire department, senior and juniors,
I got you,
that's
it's not on
one
there, yeah.
budget line that was adopted, $18,000, that's what was adopted.
Mm-hmm.
The second part, the fire department allowance, is $28,247, that's part of a line by itself. $29,000 is what was adopted.
Correct. So that's what we need to be.
That's what I need to vote on.
Point of procedure, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
The last, and I was trying to get this out, but the last vote, we did a voice vote, and I believe with the amount it requires a roll call vote. It's over $10,000.
For the Christmas bonus ordinance?
Yes, yes.
You are correct. I'll tend to that in a moment.
What's the amount you need approved, Jackie?
28,000.
That's the total request. What is the fire department request of $31,875?
So
Forget
that's
that.
the total fire department.
Okay, so I don't need to forget that. So this request is under the budget?
Yeah, so
Okay,
all the-
members of council, do you have any questions?
Move that we approve this, budget allowance for $31,875.
Is that what we're doing? Is that the figure we're doing?
28,200.
It's, I
$28,247.
apologize, I adjust the figure, $28,247.
Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Williams, second. Any discussion? All those in, I need a roll call vote beginning with, Mr. Page.
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Motion carries 6-0-1. I'll call your attention that I've made an error, and we're gonna go backwards to new business number 8 on the ordinance that we discussed. We approved by a roll call vote. That is my error. I will now ask for a, roll call vote beginning with Mr. Page.
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Motion carries 6-0-1. I think we need to talk about number 9, which is utility write-offs. Mr. Manager?
I'll refer to the treasurer. These are either individuals who have accounts with us that have passed away or under $5. And treasurer's prepared a list and asking for, to relieve her of the obligation. We'll still try to collect them, but this relieves the obligation, and we need to prepare this and provide it to our auditors when they put our audit together.
You've heard the manager's request. Is there a motion?
And these are specific to utility accounts.
I beg your pardon?
Specific to utility accounts.
Okay.
So moved.
Mr. Nash moves. Is there a second?
Second.
That discussion.
Any discussion?
There's obviously those that are deceased, completely understand. There's some individual, and even if it's less than $5, I know it's a moot point probably, but there's some businesses on here, $4.52, $4.
We'll still try to collect,
We shouldn't have to try.
yeah.
I'm sorry, I mean,
We can make a phone call and
we need to.
Pick up
they just
2 or 3
need to be
of them.
cleaned up. It's the citizens' money.
Can we,
I mean, we send out, we put them in collection, put liens on them, but
there's 2 active businesses on their list.
I-
that we could stop by the office and I get a check
I mean,
tomorrow.
It's probably a clerical error, but let's just get them cleaned up. I mean, we know that those businesses are good.
I would ask that we purge the rules of any, or purge the debt of anything that's from 1 to 10 cents. There's multiple ones, 1 cent, 10 cent, 2 cents, 6 cents, 1 cent.
I think the policy had been established if you're dead or have deceased or under $5. That was the policy that was established by council. If you want to change it, you can change it, and we can continue on, but,
I'm not gonna entertain that tonight.
I think the town, I think we as a body should know, even if it's a penny, again, it's citizens' money, I'd like to see it.
we will collect the active businesses there.
Any other discussion, council? Mr. Nash moves, Mr. Gorman seconds to alleviate the treasurer of collecting responsibility in the utility department for a figure of $246.16. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed?
No,
I beg your pardon?
I said nay.
Motion carries 6-1. Item 10 is an item that I added earlier this evening, and it's the town manager's temporary employment agreement with the town and the county. I attended the Board of Supervisors meeting last Thursday, and I requested that they formally make a motion to request that this agreement, which is due to expire tomorrow, be continued until January 1st of 24. Is there a motion to extend to the first of the year?
Where's this agreement at?
There is no agreement. They made a motion, and we're extending the verbal agreement we had originally.
But this is the county agreement.
Yes. The county has asked us to extend the agreement in the terms that we set forth 3 months ago.
Do we know what our total that we have charged the county for usage of Philip? I hate to say usage of Philip, but
Well, I saw the figure. I saw it. Where did I see it?
It's in the informational.
It's in your informational package.
There have been 2 invoices submitted to the county on behalf of the town. The first was in your previous pack, and this one, I believe, is for $2,800. $2,800 plus, but it'd be in the informational
It's
side
in
of
here
it.
somewhere.
For both of them, 2,800
No,
total?
that, a month. The last month,
Last
the
one
last
was
billing
12.
cycle.
Last one was 1,200.
There have been 2 invoices sent on my behalf and 2 invoices sent on the town's behalf. 2,800 is not total, that's for 1 month. I have billed for public information. The first month I helped them was $1,300, and I'm paid $100 an hour after hours. If I go up there between the hours of 8 and 5, I do not receive compensation. The town is reimbursed. My first invoice was $1,300, and the second invoice was $1,175, and I have been compensated for both. All right, I've received both checks. This is the second invoice. I don't think we've been paid that second invoice, the county.
do you wanna get us a motion? in the
I would
second
love a
first?
motion. Are you moving, sir?
No, you will not come from me.
Okay. Is there a motion to extend this? Sounds like your time's up.
I would ask you guys to let me finish up to January. That's their expectation.
I got a question.
But if you don't want to do it, I mean, I get it, but
I got a question.
mhm.
Okay, you said.
I'm doing interviews tomorrow for county administrator, so
Listen,
I've committed to doing that.
you said that your contract ran out tomorrow.
Our agreement, there's no contract, just a
okay,
handshake
your agreement.
agreement.
So, okay, here you are asking for another one. I mean, what's gonna say that they,
I
not gonna
can't, I
keep
can't go beyond the January 1st. I'm not doing a good job for them. I'm only up there 3 or 4 hours a week. I'm really not getting into the meat of county administration, economic development efforts, comprehensive plan efforts, those kinds of things. They need a full-time person.
Well, that's, I just
Actually
wanted-
doing interviews tomorrow.
Before, that's why I was looking to see if we had a motion second, so then we could go in discussion.
Well, we don't.
Well, I'm gonna discuss it, man, anyway. Is there active, 'cause we haven't heard a thing. Is there an active search? Is there progress on finding somebody?
We're interviewing tomorrow.
Viable candidate, I mean,
I ask you, and I will not ask you to extend past January 1st. I'm not doing a great job for the county because I'm not there enough, and the hours that I am away are taken away from stuff here in town. So
What are we charging them right now per hour?
just,
Extending his
you're
time.
getting reimbursed for my full salary and mileage and benefit.
I would ask that, I make a motion for an extension at a consultant rate of $200 an hour, plus mileage, plus expenses.
Again, please, I was distracted, I apologize.
consultant
gonna
rate
ask-
is $200 an hour.
I would ask that for the extension, at a proper consultant rate of $200 an hour.
To reimburse the county.
Reimburse the county
County
and
to
for you.
reimburse us as your consultant. I think you're doing a lot more work than 3 or 4 hours up there a week. I think you're just probably more
It has decreased recently.
I think you would have seen, I'll second that motion.
Okay.
I think you would have seen a more favorable response to extend had there been more courtesy given to us in the whole process of this. Not by you, but I'm gonna put it out there, more courtesy on behalf of the county when it involved us. So I'm all for extending it. I wanna help the county out because the county is actually our citizens as well. But there were no favors done on our behalf,
That's,
or on
and,
their behalf.
and that's exactly why I'm presenting the motion